Bless you. This is the Reverend Dr. Gilberto Rosado. Dios lo bendiga. Este es Reverendo Dr. Gilberto Rosado. Welcoming you to another broadcast. At this hour, we have our bilingual broadcast, our teaching in English and Spanish. So we ask that you be patient as we translate live on the fly between languages. Esta es la hora que damos la enseñanza en inglés y español y pedimos que tengas pues paciencia mientras que traduzcamos de un idioma al otro. Aproveche y aprende el otro idioma. While we're at it, you can learn the other language as well. Es un beneficio de sintonizarse con nuestro ministerio. It's a benefit, an added benefit, I should add, of tuning in to our ministry. God bless you and welcome. Dios bendiga, bienvenido a nuestra enseñanza, la última de ¿cómo se dice? Este tiempo. This is the last teaching for this pre-summer period. Usually we take the summer months here to catch up on work and make improvements and whatnot. And this year is no different. So we are going to finish up today on chapter 22 of Exodus. Hoy terminamos en el capítulo 22 del Éxodo. And just give me a minute to configure your cameras up here. One moment. I always have a camera issue going up on one of them. As usual, gives us just a slight problem. Okay, and one more check before we get going. And Exodus 22, as we were finishing off last time, we are looking at what the precepts are. Just checking cameras for a second, sorry. Checking up on the precepts of and the statutes of God through his judgments. Estamos investigando los preceptos y los decretos de Dios a través, los estatutos y los preceptos de Dios a través de sus decretos. Y aquí en el Éxodo 22, donde vamos a terminar. I think one of the main things that we have to observe, or that we can observe, is the powerful teaching and a powerful statute, even at this point, it's getting to be that of responsibility. responsibility. Who has or what has the responsibility? I think in the scientific term, or in scientific terms, this is regarded to as cause and effect, right? What has caused this effect to happen? So we look at the causational reasons, and that is a main body of scientific discovery, not the effects, in as much as the causation. I think that's where the body of scientific investigation and discovery lies at, right? And we see here also then in the judgments of God, responsibility, the cause, what's causing, and who is to blame, who's the causational, who is the one who has caused this to become, and that then taking responsibility or accountability. It seems to be a very, very strong teaching within the judgments of God. So esto parece una gran enseñanza, una fuerte enseñanza, esto de responsabilidad. Estamos viendo a través de los decretos de Dios el énfasis, ¿no? La fuerte enseñanza sobre la responsabilidad. ¿Quién o qué tiene la responsabilidad de cualquier asunto? Es interesante también porque en la ciencia se llama estos términos causa y efecto, ¿no? ¿No? La ciencia tiene amplitud cuando en su enfoque, ¿no? Sobre causas, ¿no? El efecto, pues, es lo que vemos, es lo observable. Pero entonces, ¿qué hay detrás? Ese es el cuerpo de ciencia. El descubrimiento que lo que hay detrás de esto, ¿qué es la causa de cualquier efecto saliente que estamos observando? Así que así vemos que en los decretos de Dios también lo importante es el factor causante de cualquier efecto. It's a little bit like it doesn't almost like doesn't matter the effect. And we see in Jesus's teachings about sin, in other words, that you don't have to actually have the effect. You don't have to have the sin committed in order to already have sinned, because simply just thinking about sinning is already the sin. So it's also it's the other side of this quarter, right? It's the other side of the coin, in meaning that it hasn't, the effect is not what's at matter. What's at matter really is the cause. It's the causational factor, or the who or the what in this case of this final effect, or even the intended, or the eventual effect is already had by causation. So the causation rather is what is said. Lo que estamos viendo, que entonces podemos ver que la causa es la causa lo que identifica una cosa, o sea, el pecado. El pecado es el causa más que el acto. See? So this is very interesting, because even in Hebrew, in Jewish teaching, they don't consider the causation. And even though the judgments are talking about that, they don't look at man being subject to a causational sin. In other words, a causational condition or preconditioning where sin is the eventual outcome. En términos de los hebreos, los judíos, ellos no consideran esto de el pretendencia, o la tendencia en sí, o una precondición que causa entonces pecado en el hombre, sino que ellos no aceptan pues la idea del pecado original. Eso es una creencia que no tienen. So they don't have, the Jews don't have they don't accept Adamic sin. They don't have that concept of being born in sin. necessarily. They don't accept Adamic sin, that everyone is born under this sinful nature. Okay, so they don't believe that, even though now, as we're looking at, because, and probably because of this, even it's because they see this as your responsibility, not that someone else caused a problem and then you're suffering from that cause. You see, but it's just simply they believe that everyone sins on their own. You sin because you sin, and you have to pay your own price for the sin that you committed. They don't believe that people are born under an Adamic sin at all. Los judíos no aceptan o no creen que el hombre es nacido bajo el pecado adánico, sino que cada uno es responsable por su pecado. También pueden leer en Éxodo 22 y ver que cada persona está responsable por lo que está haciendo. Eso es la lectura prima facie, como se dice así arribita, ¿no? So we see that on the prima facie evidence that Exodus 22 and as well as other parts of the Bible give us the clear indication right upon its face. That's what prima facie means. That first looking at it, the first appearance, is that a man pays for his own sin. I mean, you committed a crime, and you are the one that is responsible and whatnot. But again, they are not looking at the law, this principle, as being based on the character of God. That's the issue, folks. Entonces, nosotros debemos entender. Los judíos creen que cada persona es responsable. Leyendo esto, aún los decretos de Dios, como el resto de la Biblia, indica así al aparecer de que cada persona es responsable por su pecado. Es cierto, es su error. Tú hiciste esto, pues tú eres responsable. Eso se deja entender en las escrituras. Pero tenemos que recordar que estos son los decretos de Dios. Y los decretos de Dios están basados sobre preceptos y estatutos. Y entonces, así también como el resto de la ley, están basadas basados en el carácter de Dios. Así que nosotros no podemos olvidarnos, ellos se olvidan, desconectan. So one of the things you're going to see when you speak to a Jew, when you're discussing or when you're reading materials that are produced by the Jewish faith, you're going to see that distinctiveness. You're going to see that they are reading Torah as it is. It's just man. And everything, it's just talking about man. And even the judgments of God here just talks about man. And this is the judgments of God to man, so that's basically all they are seeing. But they're forgetting something that they also know. You see, if it wasn't for the fact that they teach that the law is based on the character of God, that they understand this, then then it's excusable, it's understood, it's understandable, no? That hey, this is what men do, and this is what God told for men to handle their affairs. But but with the understanding that they also have that the law is based on the character of God, then you can't just look at this as just human laws, the laws for man. You have to also see the character of God Himself in these things. Si los judíos no supiesen, por ejemplo, que la ley fuese establecida en el carácter de Dios mismo, entonces sería comprensible que hicieran la doctrina o la creencia, tuviesen la creencia que cada persona es puramente responsable de su pecado, que no hay pecado adénico o adámico posible, porque cada persona es responsable, etcétera, etcétera. Es entendible, pero ellos conocen muy bien que la ley se establece sobre el carácter o en el carácter de Dios mismo. Así que todo lo que está diciendo que los hombres deben de hacer y esto, lo otro, está basado en el carácter de Dios. No podemos decir que Dios no está, no es parte de lo que se está leyendo. Y no es el parte de juez aquí, es el parte de su naturaleza, él es la naturaleza de la ley. Okay, so las verdades que vemos en la ley son verdades pertenentes a Dios, a su carácter, all right, directamente. So we have to understand that these issues pertain directly to the character of God. And if it pertains directly to the character of God, then it pertains directly to the nature of these elements. What are these elements? Sin, the big one, right? The big S. Sin, the nature of what sin is in fact. Not what men do or perceive it or practice of it or avoidance of it. It is what it is in itself, in fact. Why God has a problem with sin. What is the real problem about sin and with sin? Because that would define indeed exactly what sin is, which is what Jesus came in later on in the New Testament and defines that sin it happens before you even commit any action. The sin is actually the thought, the thinking process, the causation of the act, and not just the act itself. That's a big deal. Cuando llega Cristo después, hablando de lo que infiere estas verdades, que estamos hablando aquí del carácter mismo de Dios, y eso entonces, también a través de ese conocimiento podemos entonces ver la naturaleza de pecado, una de las grandes cosas, pecado. Y entonces podemos entender cuando Cristo viene después y declara que uno no tiene que hacer el acto de pecado para estar en pecado. O sea que ya pensándolo en su mente, ya pecó. ¿Okay? ¿Por qué? Porque eso es la causa. Ya pensando, ya es el deseo. Y ya eso causa, es el factor causante. Entonces, lo que lo que está diciendo el Señor es que nuestra percepción de pecado es tarde. No es en sí el pecado, sino es el fruto. La raíz del pecado está en el principio de la habilidad de concebir. So we're seeing that when Jesus comes along, it's not the act, it's the sin. That's the fruit of it. That's when people can see the fruit and know the tree for its fruit. But the tree was the tree before the fruit came out. And this is what Jesus is pointing toward in his explanation of how sin is, or when does sin begin. When is it a sin? Is it after we've done something, or some other time? And Jesus is saying it's right at its core beginning, at its initial instance. That is already a sin. You already sin. So we're talking about causation. Estamos hablando entonces, si Cristo dice que el instante de la intención ya estamos en pecado, pues lo que Cristo está diciendo, pues con la causa ya revela o manifiesta la condición de pecado. So what we're talking about is condition. It's a state of sin. Jesus explains this later on. It's a condition, it's a state that brings forth fruit. That's what we think is sin. And until we see the fruit, we don't think anyone's sinning. That's the mistake. People are sinning all the time. We don't see the fruit. It doesn't mean they're not in sin. See, and that's where the Jews also make their error, because they're looking at the fruit. They're looking at, yeah, because of the law. When someone does this, or they did that, or they didn't do that, well, they broke the law. That's a sin. You see, that's why the law is a trainer. It was supposed to instruct, to teach what sin was, but it's not sin. It's not that the fruit which you needed to wait for, because man on man, I can show you various examples of this. They needed to wait for the fruit for them to see, oh, that this was bad. See, but that's the only way they can learn. How are they going to learn about causation? What could they see is the causation of sin? Well, how could they even fathom such a thing? ¿Cómo iban a entender estos patriarcas y este pueblo de Israel en sus principios? Esclavos, ¿no? Eran esclavos. ¿Qué sabían ellos? Que no fueron a la escuela, ni siquiera. Y el único que fue a la escuela aquí era Moisés. Así que, ¿cómo iban a empezar a filosofiar? Que es lo que es, filosofiar sobre la realidad, la naturaleza del pecado, y cuándo pecado es y cuándo no lo es. Esos son conceptos bien profundos. Si todavía hoy la gente no entiende completamente, right? So, ¿cómo vamos a imaginar que esta gente iba a entender? Dios tuvo que empezar a enseñarlo. God had to begin to train them, to teach them. And you have to begin at the simple stuff. Uno tiene que empezar con las cosas sencillas. Okay, entonces por eso está la ley allí. That's the reason that the law is there, so that they can begin to unravel this complex issue of what sin is. People say that's not complex. You break the law. That's what God did. God made it easy for man to say, well, this is a sin, that's a sin. But note that when Jesus comes in, he gives us a more deeper comprehension, or he throws the wrench in it, right? When he says that that even just thinking about sinning, doing that sin is already a sin. The sin is already done. You're already guilty of it. We see it here in the judgments. The guy didn't kill a person that they kidnapped. Remember the one we looked at about the kidnapper? Right? Remember, look at the kidnapping teaching. Usted recuerde que aquí también en los decretos de Dios se ve en el caso del secuestrador, del secuestro, que dimos la enseñanza varios domingos atrás. El hombre, el que secuestró al otro, no lo mató, está vivo. El víctima del secuestro está vivo, pero la condena del secuestro, ¿cuál fue? Como si lo hubiera matado. So the punishment, remember, for the kidnapping was as if he had killed the person. Right? Remember that? Did he kill the person? Why did he suffer capital punishment, which is death? ¿Por qué sufrió el secuestrador muerte? Si no mató al otro. Recuerda, remember, it's eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? Recuerda que era ojo por ojo, diente por diente. ¿Por qué está muriendo el secuestrador si no mató al secuestrado? So why, if it's tooth for a tooth and eye for an eye, etc., why is the kidnapper being put to death? Right? Because of what the nature of sin is. Not the fruit. It's the nature of it, you see. No es el fruto del pecado, sino la naturaleza del pecado. So this was the difference. And it's here as well. But again, if you're not understanding that God is revealing of his nature, which is expressed through the law, and you're not understanding that the law is just a teaching tool for God, for man, so begin to understand what sin is. Not that was sin. Bible says that's sin, but how else will you understand it? See, people are not understanding. Like, it's like when you were a kid, they told you this was this and this was that, but then later on when you go to college, right, or high school, you start learning, wait a minute, it wasn't just that simple. See, that's the thing you got to understand. It wasn't that the truth wasn't told to you. It was that you couldn't handle the truth at the time. You don't know what the full truth is because you can't understand it. So we start with baby steps. So baby steps. So yes, in the world, if you broke this law, that's a sin. So we're going to start there. But later on, because it's nighttime, remember? Nighttime, if you hear the Sabbath teaching, you know what I'm talking about because it's nighttime. Then later on, when the daylight comes, then you can see clearly. See? So this is the case with Torah and with the law. So este es el caso, mira, si ustedes han oído mis enseñanzas sabáticas, usted entiende que lo que estoy diciendo, que el Torah y la ley es de la noche, es las primeras cosas, para que el hombre empieza a entender. Ok, so, aunque como cuando nosotros estuvimos en la escuela, en las edades primarias, en los grados primarios, que las cosas son sencillas y se expresan sencillamente para mentes tiernas, pero que después hay muchas cosas que después aprendemos que no era exactamente así, esa era una verdad general, pero vemos ya en lo complejo y etcétera, etcétera, vemos que no es así necesariamente. Like a good example is the following: is 1 plus 1. How much is that? Uno por uno es una enseñanza que le voy a dar ahora. Uno por uno, ¿cuánto es? ¿Sí? So, a nosotros se nos ha enseñado desde la niñez que uno y uno son dos. Right? Pero cuando vayamos a estudiar la matemática más a profundo, se ha descubierto, se ha probado que el uno y uno no son dos. When you look at mathematics and you start studying mathematics later on, like in college or high school, some of you got a great high school mathematics teacher, you begin to learn that 1 plus 1 isn't 2. So what is this? And to a lot of you, you're saying, what? Well, how can it not be 2? Because they've discovered that mathematically, in the scheme of things, the 1 and 1 equals more than 2. It's not just 2. It is 2 plus something more. Okay. So that is what is learned. When two things are put together in nature, it becomes more than just the sum of its parts. Así que cuando dos cosas se juntan en la naturaleza, viene a ser más que sus partes individuales. So that is a something that is true in the nature of things. Es algo verdadero en la naturaleza de cosas. Okay. No voy a entrarme en una profunda discusión sobre eso o un diálogo profundo porque es un tema bastante grande. Es lo mismo del hombre. ¿Qué es el hombre? ¿Espíritu o físico? Y sabemos que al hombre se le describe en tres partes, pero Dios solamente hizo dos, right? Dos partes, pero de buena mañana, de tarde a la mañana tenemos una tercera parte. Pues, uno y uno no son dos nada más. Ese es sencillamente referencia bíblico a lo que estoy hablando. ¿Sí? So a very gentle, because I'm not going to go into that topic too much at all today, but it's in the Bible what I'm talking about. The principle of 1 and 1 is more than 2. And that is when God made man. God made man, he did two things, right? He formed from the dust. He blew in the spirit. So how many things there? Two. But then man became a tertiary creature, a creature that had three qualities about him, physical, the spirit, and then we have this thing called the soul. It's an added thing that resulted from the combination of two. Okay, so then that's it right there. One biblical example of that 1 plus 1 is not 2. Okay, so it's more. All right, so I'm not going to get more into that today. Entonces, pues, so what we're talking about is the nature of things, the nature of Torah, the nature of law. Lo que estamos hablando aquí es la naturaleza de las cosas, la naturaleza de la Torah y la naturaleza de la ley. Sí, so, tenemos que entender esos principios. Génesis, recuerde que establece algunos preceptos, noche y día. Tinieblas, falta de conocimiento, una idea de la verdad, la luna de noche, reflejando la verdad del día, pero todavía no está de día. Entonces la segunda etapa, donde estamos en la claridad, la luz del día, directamente con la luz verdadero de las cosas físicas que es el sol. So we see that the Bible gives us clear teachings from the beginning, from Genesis, where it establishes the dual reality of life in this universe of darkness, and the things how they begin. Things always begin where? Darkness. It always begins. Is there truth in the darkness? Well, there is a moon. We see the moon. There is a light, the lesser light. The moon does not give off light. It's a reflection of the true light. So when things begin, it's just a reflection of the true light. Whatever light there is only a reflection. It is not the true light, but a reflection of the true light, which will come later in the daytime when we're directly under the clarity of that second part, that second light. So even just looking at the Torah and looking at the Bible, the Word of God, and applying the precept that God already established in Genesis is telling you, hey guys, first part of the day, darkness. The light, pure light, comes later. But right now it's darkness. You don't know much. Here's some light for you. And know that it's only a reflection of what's coming later. God says it. God put it in. He made it that way. That's it. I'm sorry, but that's the way God did it. It's very clear. It's very clear. Así que estas cosas son bien claras como Dios lo hizo. ¿Quién va a pelear contra lo que Dios está haciendo? Sencillo. You know, it's amazing how people do things. They just ignore what God has established. They ignore what God says, and they just go through like a railroad. You hear choo choo, you know, because you want to believe something one way. You ignore key verses that clarify, wait a minute, these are checks. They tell you, house of Jacob, children of Israel. Yeah, I mean, it's just telling you. And then darkness is first, and then comes the light of day, right? There is light, there is some truth, but it's a reflective. It's a reflection of the later truth that's coming. What's the first thing that God gives to establish His word on the earth? What is it? Torah. I'm sorry. He chose Torah first. That's the first part of the day. Así que, you know, no es culpa de nosotros que Dios escoge primera parte del día en dar al hombre Torah. Eso es lo que es, pero no ignoréis. Ignoran eso como también ignoran el fundamento de los decretos de Dios. So they're ignoring those facts on top of also ignoring the ones here in the judgments of God. Simply do not, just because this is talking about adjudicating cases among men, don't make the mistake of forgetting that we're discussing here also the nature of God, because that's the mistake that the Jews make. They've made it from the beginning. They continue to do it today. They make that basic mistake. So, and that mistake goes to the heart of the matter, because then what is the sin, and who is actually responsible for it? Then we see, without understanding that, you get the wrong idea. You will not come to the right idea and the right concept that God is showing and revealing through Torah if you don't get that straight. Should be the first thing right off the bat. It's the first thing in the Bible. How can you mistake that? ¿Cómo podemos hacer este error grande si son las primeras cosas en la Biblia y para el judío en la Torah? ¿Cómo puedes? Es lo primero. Es como un chiste malo. You know, los judíos están delante de Dios. Oh, pues no sabíamos que teníamos pecado adénico. Pues, chico, pues está en los primeros capítulos. Mira, tú empezaste el libro, ¿no? ¿Qué pasó? You're going to have these Jews standing up in front of God and telling, but we didn't know about Adamic sin. And all I said, it's the first things in the Bible. It's the first things I started talking about. How are you going to stand up in front of God telling the first thing in the Bible, and you're going to say you don't know about it? It's the first teachings of the Bible outside of Genesis 1. We went right into the big deal. Adamic sin, that's the first thing that is the teaching about man and man's actions in the Bible. How can you ignore that? ¿Cómo puede ser ignorado el primer acto del hombre? Que la Biblia se mete en el que hizo el hombre. Y tú te ignoras que el hombre, Adán, pecó y que el hombre fue... See, if there's no such thing as Adamic sin, why aren't we in the Garden of Eden? Porque si no hay algo real como el pecado adámico, ¿por qué nosotros no estamos en el jardín de Edén? Él pecó, ¿verdad? Fue Adán que pecó, no nosotros. Adán pecó. So Adam sinned, not us. We didn't sin, did we? He's the one who sinned in the garden. So get him kicked out. We could have been in the garden. Why aren't we in the garden? The Jew that believes that there is no Adamic sin is ignoring reality. You're closing your eyes to reality. El judío que dice que no hay pecado adámico está ciego a la realidad. It's just as simple as that. You just can't. I know they taught you that. Bless them. Yo sé que te enseñaron sus rabinos eso. Your rabbis taught you this thing and bless them. I'm not clobbering anyone over the head, but mijo, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You guys have to use your brain. Ustedes tienen que usar la cabeza, pero eso no lo permiten. But they don't allow that either. You're not supposed to think for yourself. Okay, well, enough of that. Vamos a dejar eso ahí. All right, so the nature of sin itself and the causational element. La naturaleza del pecado y el elemento causador o causante. And that is what you have to always be looking at when you're looking at his judgments. Y eso es lo que tenemos que estar siempre mirando cuando consideramos sus decretos. Let's go to the Bible. Vamos a ir a la Biblia. And let me just fix any missing cameras here that always pop up when we have this set up, as you know, those of you who know the OBS. Okay, so here we are. Vamos a la escritura. And what we're looking at, again, is to remember those basic precepts there and not to forget them. The responsibility is a big one. La responsabilidad es grande. The cause and effect. El efecto, la causa y el efecto científico. Now we were here last week. The sun rising upon the thief. El sol levantándose cuando el pillo está capturado. And cuando hay claridad y luz, ese tiempo hay sangre. So the blood is shed during the light time, right? For that person. It means that whatever happened at night and he died because he was smitten, then there was no blood for them, okay? So here's a definite difference in terms of the day and night and its significance. Why would that be a difference in God's nature? What does that have to do with his nature? So we have to look at it. So nosotros tenemos que buscar. Well, the question being, what if I told you, obviously for God is internal and not external? Then I will tell you, you are quite mistaken, because God is everywhere, every place that is existent, God inhabits. So limiting God to being in one and not the other is an error right off the bat. La pregunta fue una pregunta que entró que si te digo, ¿qué dirás que si te digo que Dios es interno y no externo? Yo digo, bueno, está en error, porque Dios está en todo lugar. Dios, al momento que tú limitas a Dios a una cosa y no la otra, pues ya no es Dios. Yeah, so remember the precept, the basic things have to be understood. God wouldn't be God if he was in one place and not the other. That's not God. That's something else, but it's not God. Dios no estuviese en un lugar y no el otro. All right, porque eso no sería Dios. And also we see here, if he is found with the thing in his hand, whether it be an ox or an ass or sheep, he shall restore double. The restoration of double. Vemos también en la enseñanza del preceptos que hay que restaurar el doble. Eso es muy importante también. Recuerde la enseñanza de dos. Remember the teaching of two, one being spiritual, the other being physical. ¿Entiendes? We have to understand that una cosa es físico, el otro es espiritual cuando hay dos. Aquí está hablando de restaurar el doble. Okay? Because again, you have to understand, what is God trying to teach us. ¿Qué es lo que Dios está tratando de enseñar? La gente no está entendiendo. La gente ve esto como eso es lo que dijo Dios, hay que hacerlo. People look at something like this and say, that's what God said, we have to do it. We just have to do it because he said it. Who are we? Then they come up with this silliness of who are we to question God? And I'll tell you who we are. We're the image and likeness of God. That's who we are. He made us to question, to investigate, and to say why. Okay, so that's who we are, because I know a lot of people are confused, pensando que Dios puso esta cosa que se obedezca y no se pregunta. Eso es una ignorancia. Boy, you asking for a cult. Probably in one already. We not to ask. We can't question authority. We just have to do whatever it says. You know, some people are just begging for trouble, aren't they? Increíble como la gente piden por problemas. ¿Cómo tú vas a pensar que no se puede preguntar? ¿Qué tipo de iglesia tú estás que no puede preguntar? En otra iglesia que te dan las preguntas, estos son las únicas preguntas que se puede preguntar, no otros. You know, eso es control de mente. If you don't see it, then you're lost. I can't help you. If you don't understand that if your church does not allow you to make a question, to ask a question, see, that's why I have the chat thing open. People can come and ask a question. No problem here. I don't have any problem. I will tell you the truth. I'm going to answer that. But there's no reason you can't answer. I'm not. You can ask. But to be in a church, in a place where they don't allow you to ask questions, or they even control the questions you can ask, you're in trouble. You really need to back away, you know, and just walk out the door. You know what I'm saying? And just say goodbye to that, because that is really crazy. That you are in trouble. You're in danger. Ustedes están en problema. Están en peligro. Okay, so you know, eso es muy peligroso. All right, so if a man cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, see here the word here, cause. And just out of my own curiosity, por mi curiosidad, quiero ver el palabra causa en hebreo. Right here, Éxodo 22:5. 22:5. I'm looking at the Hebrew for cause. Sadeh. Let's get the official.
Strong's H 7704. Sadeh. Sadeh.
Okay, Sadeh. I'm not hearing it, so I'm just doing it out of Sadeh, right? Out of my own reading ability. Okay, so that's called field, and one of the translations they use for that is field, country, land, wild ground, soil. So that's cultivator. So that's talking about to spread out a field. That's like when the animals graze, right? So that word is sada. That's not translating the word that we're looking for, which is the word for cause, which is what I wanted. It's in here. I'll have to do some more uh, research basically to get into the Hebrew word here and to find that. Okay, so we can. So I won't do that now. No lo haría ahora, pero se puede investigar la palabra causa, cuál es en hebreo, just for some more understanding on that. So if a man causes a field to be eaten, that means you're taking another person's property. Again, it's someone else's. It belongs to someone else's glory. Esto pertenece a otra persona. Esta es la gloria de otro. No te pertenece. And of the beast of his own field and of the beast of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. Entonces tendrá que entregar lo que beneficio, el beneficio. El beneficio fue que sus animales comieron, se beneficiaron, se jaltaron. Pues entonces la restitución es que de esas bestias saciadas, pues haga restitución, o sea, que pague por lo que comieron y no eso, no solamente por lo que comieron, sino con lo que benefició. So we're seeing here that God is making it clear that if the animals were allowed to graze, so it's not an issue of returning what was eaten. Notice this thing. It's not about returning what was eaten. It is since this was done without permission, it was confiscated. Then the benefit of these animals having eaten is what's supposed to be restituted, because the owner could have gotten that benefit from. So it's not just the grass. It's not what it is. It is the benefit which is being taken. Do you see that? Dios está enfocado sobre el beneficio, no lo que se comió, sino el beneficio, porque el dueño de esta tierra, él podía haber tenido este beneficio por sus animales. ¿Sí? ¿Qué son los beneficios? Los animales engordados, los animales gordos pues reciben más dinero, ¿no? Tienen más valor que el animal pues flaca, que no se ve nutrido, que no están bien firmes, bien musculosos. Así que entonces ese es el beneficio, animales más costosos, animales de valor. Entonces eso es lo que tiene esta persona que restituir al dueño de esa tierra. So here we go, that it's not an eye for an eye in that sense. It's not the exact thing that was taken, but it's the benefit of what was taken. What is that benefit? And that benefit then is what is due as restitution. So again, it is, hay que ver aquí que Dios no está tomando el valor por valor en sí de la cosa, sino el beneficio de esa cosa. See? So we also have to look at that. When is it that it's the thing itself, and when are we looking at the value? See? The value. And I think there's a lot of things that present day law doesn't account for. Hay muchas cosas que la ley civil al día presente no satisface. Porque uno piensa que algo fue hecho, algo fue robado, algo fue quitado de ti, pero la penalidad que se le echa no es restituidor. I think we have to look at restitution, right? Not just punishment. I mean, is God just looking at punishment here, or is the emphasis restitution? ¿Dios está viendo aquí el castigo o está enfocado Dios en la restitución? And what constitutes restitution? So a lot of our laws today are not restitutive, if I can use that word and use in that fashion. They're not intended to restitute. They're intended to punish. We have prosecution and we have then punishment, crime and punishment. Tenemos castigo, el crimen es castigo. I don't know what you're talking about my book on the image thing, but why do you think he made us in his image? All of that would be speculative. I have my ideas, but then that's the book, right? You didn't want the book. So what is it that you want me to say? In my previous teachings, just these yesterday, the Sunday past, the Saturday past, and going backwards from this day, I talk about the image of God. And I talk about why, and everything else was made in an image of something. That is, again, man being made in God's image is the end result of the process that God was doing from the beginning, from Genesis 1:3 onward. So again, it's what you were going into why God did what he did. Okay, so again, it is speculative, but based on biblical indicators and the purpose of God in the Bible and the prophecies of God in the Bible, then yeah, I can make a pretty good determination on why God did, and part of that has to do, it's a responsive, a reactionary, and an inflammatory purpose, of which the results of which we already know, which was the temptation of man by you know who and his subsequent fall. Así que la pregunta fue, ¿cómo es? ¿Por qué Dios, por qué piensas tú que Dios nos hizo en su imagen? Le dije que no quiere mi libro, dije, pero estas son las cosas del libro. No son cosas que son claramente declaradas, pero que a través de las profecías de la Biblia, las enseñanzas de la Biblia, los acontecimientos de la Biblia, se puede deducir el motivo de Dios en hacer de acuerdo a su imagen al hombre, y que en realidad en los últimos enseñanzas que ha dado he dialogado un poco sobre este tema de imagen, de pensar que las cosas fueron creadas a la imagen de algo, y entonces el hombre fue el último cosa creada hecho a la imagen de Dios mismo. Las demás cosas no son la imagen de Dios, pero la Biblia indica, o sea, Génesis, que son imagen de algo. Así que entonces yo enseño sobre las razones por ese pensar en los otros videos y no entramos allí ahora. Alrighty, the lesson is no best, so the benefits. If a fire break out and catching the thorn, si un fuego se enciende y encienda ese finca, and or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire, see, the cause, the kindled fire shall surely make restitution. Aquel que empezó el fuego en cualquier forma, si estaba cocinando, haciendo una sopita allá afuera y el viento sopló y causó el fuego, él es responsable. So the person responsible for kindling the fire is the one responsible to make restitution for all the destruction that came from what he did. Así que de la destrucción que causó, lo que hizo él no fue el intento. What was his intent? Was his intent to burn the place down? No. But he is responsible. ¿Sí? No tiene que ver con el intento ni siquiera, sino es responsable. Here we go, another case. Then if we're talking about sin, it wasn't his intent. His intent wasn't to sin. So is intent to sin a sin in itself? And the answer is no. It can be, but it is not about intent either. It's about responsibility. Esto tiene que ver con responsabilidad, no con intento. So again, that goes against common Jewish belief in terms of the sin of man, of what sin is impacting man and what man is responsible for. The issue is that's true. If you're looking for what sin a man is responsible for, then that's right. But when we're talking about Adamic sin, or if it's possible that people are born into sin, you can't look at that. So that's where the confusion comes into play. You have to look at the nature of God, because he's saying this for a reason. Who's responsible? So we have to understand who's responsible that we're not in the Garden of Eden. That this is what you have to understand. Even the Jew has to understand this. El judío tiene que entender quién es culpable que nosotros no estamos en el jardín de Edén. Porque el asunto aquí es responsabilidad, no el intento. ¿Sí? Porque pueden entender, ese es el intento. El intento es que hace el hombre pecar. Entonces el hombre es pecado por su intento. Y la respuesta es no. Aquí Dios está enfatizando responsabilidad. Esa es la causa. So God has still showing a very heavy leaning here towards causation. Who's causing? It has nothing to do with the intent to sin, that the person is sinning because he wants to sin. He wants to disobey God. No. It has to do with who caused this. Who caused this? Who caused the eventual thing that happened, which wasn't the intent. He was cooking some food. He was lighting fire to cook some food to feed himself, which is all right, right? But then because of that he did, this other thing happened uncontrolled. He couldn't control that, except for he may have needed to, make his fire in a different place, maybe. Okay, but other than that, he did not intend to cause this fire, but yet the fire did happen. So here we have an unintentional event. Tenemos aquí un evento no intencional, causado quizá por un poquito de estupidez, un poquito podría haber cocido esto más allá en la calle, en un lugar más clara, pero no era la intención de que quemase toda la finca aquí o todo aquello. La pregunta todavía es, ¿qué es el causa? ¿Qué fue el factor que causó esto? Y alguien prendió el fuego. Si no fuese por alguien prender el fuego, no hubiera sucedido. If it wasn't for the fact that someone turned a fire on, started a fire, that would never have happened, at least not today, right? It wouldn't have been the cause of this thing happening. So again, it's the cause, not intent, cause. So here we have it. So who caused us not to be in the Garden of Eden? Así que ¿quién causó que nosotros no estuviésemos en el jardín de Edén? That's what you have to look at. Eso es lo que tienen que entender. Y tienen que entender entonces que ahí hay un pecado. You have to understand that there is a sin. There's a sin that has caused us not to be in the Garden of Eden. Hay un pecado que causó que nosotros no estuviésemos en el jardín de Edén. See? And that's it. And the other thing, you can talk about feeling naked. We don't have no clothes on. Do we feel naked? Are we walking around, going every place in town without any clothes on? Si estamos así sin ropa, estamos caminando a donde quiera sin ropa, sin importarnos nada, o tenemos alguna vergüenza. Pues eso también es una indicación, porque Adán no tenía eso antes de pecar. So we have to realize that before sinning, Adam didn't suffer from that. So again, why do we have to suffer for what Adam did? Same question. Now the Jews said you don't, but the fact is we are. See, you're believing something that reality tells you that you're wrong. Están creyendo algo que la realidad te dice que está mal. Sencillamente, porque si no fuese que nosotros pagamos por lo que hizo Adán, no estuviésemos con ropa puesta, estuviésemos en el jardín de Edén, gozándonos y ya. Pero no es así. La realidad dice que no es así. Así que, again, it's again, religious thinking always takes you out of reality. El pensamiento religioso siempre te quita de la realidad. And that's where the errors begin. Okay? Everyone joined the bandwagon. We all can be in error, but we can just call it religion. And we're okay. You know what I mean? Así que podemos estar todos en error, todos entran, tienen sus varios errores y lo llamamos una religión. Eso es todo lo que necesita hacer. So, hey, listen, I just gave the clue for all the kiddies out there. Next year when you start school again and you fail your test, you said, teacher, but these are right answers. And she said, no, they're wrong. I said, but that's my religion. According to my religion, these are right. And so that's it. Then it's a religious thing, so you have freedom of religion. That's your response. It's simple. We've cleared it up, haven't we? Así que cuando empieza la escuela, sus niños, el año que viene, y no pasan la clase, el examen, solo tienen que decir al maestro, esto es mi religión. ¿Sabes? Esa pregunta está mal, te dicen. Yo sé, no, eso es mi religión, eso es mi creencia religiosa. So that gives you the right to be wrong, right? Religion is funny. Okay, so let's continue. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff, you got to watch out with that stuff, to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. Again, the restitution and the teaching of double. Vemos que cuando viene a ser el del robo, aquí la enseñanza de el doble. Si en el 7, let's read that. So, in Spanish, cuando alguno diera a su prójimo plata o alhajas a guardar y fuere hurtado de la casa de aquel hombre, si el ladrón fuera hallado, pagará el doble. Otra vez la enseñanza de doblada, o sea, 1 y 2, de restaurar lo robado. If the thief be not found, which then causes an issue, right? Si no hay pillo, causa un problema, no, right? Si no se encontró el pillo, el ladrón. Then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he have put his hand unto his goods. Entonces tiene que ir a los hombres que juzgan a ver si descubran si el hombre, el mismo persona robó lo del vecino y no está diciendo que alguien, otra persona lo robó, como decir, para taparse. So here we have a case of someone trying to cover it for themselves, saying, no, someone else stole it. I was stolen. When I got back home, it wasn't here. And to cover up for something they did. So then it's sent to the other judges, to then judge if, to look at the facts to see if there was something, there's underhanded mischief going on here. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. Así que en cualquier modo, let's see this in Spanish so that we get the right wording. En toda clase de fraude, sobre buey, asno, oveja, sobre vestido, sobre toda cosa perdida, cuando alguno dijere, esto es mío, la causa de ambos vendrá delante de los jueces, y el que los jueces condenaren pagará el doble a su prójimo. So this is basically that you have to find out the facts, but whoever is found guilty by the judge's declaration, that person, again, now you say here, but how about the truth? Does it say anything here about the truth? Y la verdad, ¿y qué de la verdad? Aquí está mencionando algo de la verdad. You see, is God concerned about the truth here? Doesn't God know who actually stole this thing that's missing and no one knows who took it? Does the question I'm asking, does God know what happened to this thing? Dios sabrá qué pasó con esta cosa que nadie sabe quién fue, que este dice que le robaron, alguien robó, quién es el pillo, nadie sabe, right? No se sabe si un ladrón de verdad lo cogió o si esa persona se está tapando con esa excusa. ¿Quién lo sabe de verdad qué pasó? Dios sabe. See, God knows for sure what happened here. God knows for sure what happened here, right? Yet, there's no indication here that God is interested in the truth of the matter, right? There's no he's letting men try to find out what the truth is. So that's the first thing we have to look here. We have to consider here he's letting people find out on their own. And granted, they could be wrong. Judges can be wrong. People can look at things and just be totally wrong and mistaken. La gente puede ver las cosas y estar totalmente equivocado, right? God knows the truth of the matter, but we see that you guys aren't God. Ustedes no son Dios. Es la realidad aquí. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't see your question, Phil. Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, you can feel free to ask any question. Usually, I'm looking. I tend to entertain the chat. I'm not always on the chat, so when I start talking and teaching, I don't look at the chat. But yes, feel free always. You'll find interesting things that I talk about, and maybe on some other broadcasts, I'm more open to questions and answers and stuff like that. You'll see Q&A, and then that means I'm open up. So you see that Q&A, you can come charging it. Okay, estaba hablando con el que está preguntando en el chateo, le estoy diciendo que siéntese bien en preguntar y cosas. No lo estoy extendiendo mucho porque estoy en la enseñanza, pero que venga en otro tiempo cuando tengo el programa de contestar preguntas y así podemos dialogar más. Él es un estudiante y y le gusta oír otras opiniones. All right, but on the top of that, but talking about other opinion, that's another thing. You have to know. You have to go by if you're talking about biblical things, you need to establish yourself on Genesis, what the Bible states. This is what this whole thing about God's judgments are. Is for you to learn exactly what the nature of God is and the basis for all the law, all the Torah. So if you don't get this straight, it has nothing to do with opinion. It's not to do with my opinion. It's the process. Esto tiene que verse con el proceso, no con mi opinión. So don't. When people say like that's your opinion or hear different opinions, you're discarding any truth that could be. You're discarding the whole kit and caboodle because you're labeling everything as an opinion. Don't label. I mean, 2 + 2 = 4 is not an opinion. So just because you believe that to be true yourself does not make it true either. See, so that's the error you get into when you start using these terms like opinion. Very few people have an opinion. Opinions are qualified. People who are not qualified to offer an opinion, they're not opinions. They're just statements that are either true or false, and mostly false. So you have to be careful when you approach other opinions. Now, I don't tell you to accept how I say things, but process is process. Math is math. In other words, how can you? It's not opinion. It's math. See? So when it comes to the process of investigation, like we're discussing now, that's not opinion. That's a fact. That's just the way things work. So it's science. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you have to be very careful with that one. Estaba explicando que muchas veces nosotros hablamos de la opinión, él usó ese término y ahí lo capturé, porque básicamente la mayoría de personas no tienen opiniones. Las opiniones son de profesionales, de expertos. Son los únicos cualificados a dar opinión. Eso es un término que se usa muy libremente y confunde a las personas que lo están usando erradamente en sí, porque la mayoría de personas no tienen opinión, no son cualificados para tener una. Las cosas que dicen son verdad o son mentiras o erradas, lo que sea, pero no son opiniones. Opinión es otra cosa. Lo que estoy diciendo también, que no lo estoy diciendo que lo que yo estoy diciendo es la verdad o que tú lo aceptes, pero lo que estoy hablando más sobre todo es sobre procesos. Y el proceso es la matemática. 1 más 2 es 3. Right? Es un proceso. Y eso es lo que estoy hablando. Eso es lo que está hablando los decretos de Dios. Los decretos de Dios están basados sobre procedimientos a base de la naturaleza de Dios. Eso no son opiniones. Eso es lo que se revela aquí en la escritura, que es la naturaleza de Dios. Son procesos, esto es ciencia y no se puede descartar con un término como opinión. Eso no son opiniones, opinión son declaraciones que digo, pero procesos no son opiniones, es ciencia. Y matemática, que yo corrijo así la gente porque la gente entonces no se defienden sus errores con eliminar procesos o procedimientos de razonamiento. So that's why everyone's in trouble. Most people, they get into trouble because they base their beliefs on the absence of reason. Because, of course, they already called the reasoning process an opinion. Así que muchos se quedan en sus errores porque han llamado el proceso de razón como opinión. Y ese es el error, man. So that's why you have to be careful. You want other people to do that or to be in error because they're calling a process an opinion. You don't want that. But you can't do it yourself. You have to stop doing it yourself. So you have to be careful. So identify, if you want to be a student of anything in this world and in the universe, identify the difference between what you call an opinion, it's a statement, and a process. There is a difference. This is math. So there's a difference between statements or variables, right? We stay with the math. Variables or numbers, identified elements, and processes. Okay, the processes are not ever opinion. And this is all you really need to understand is what the processes are. Usted lo que necesita entender es cuáles son los procesos o los procedimientos. Los otros elementos son variables, right? They're variables. But the processes is set. This is mathematics. But don't take the whole formula and just call it an opinion, because you're throwing out the process. The process cannot be an opinion. It is a statute of everything there is in the universe. There are certain things that God calls in the Bible, they're statutes. They are permanent structures in this universe. And everything is based on those things. So nothing breaks those rules. They will be and always will be. As long as this universe exists, those statutes of God will always be. Okay? So those are not opinions. See? That's the science you need to learn. So los estatutos de Dios no son opiniones. Los estatutos de Dios no son variables. Ellos son permanentes mientras que este universo perdura. Esos son permanentes. Así que no se puede llamar opinión. No son variables, esos son permanentes. Esos son procedimientos, procesos. Y esa es la base del descubrimiento de la verdad. The best you can get from anyone is the process of discovery of truth and understanding. That is it, you know. And I'm a proponent that everyone discover truth. Not that you learn truth from me, you learn the process of discovery. Así que yo no estoy aquí para enseñar la verdad a la gente, sino para enseñar el proceder al descubrimiento de verdad. Ese es más valoroso. ¿Qué ventaja hay que yo te enseño la verdad hoy, pero no sabe proceder y descubrir la verdad siempre? En mañana entras en un error. So what good is it for me to tell you the truth and for you to learn the truth today? And then what of tomorrow? Tomorrow you will revert back to your erroneous processes and go back into error. My main purpose is to teach the process, okay? And for you to discover. Mi propósito es enseñar el proceso o el proceder y ustedes descubrir la verdad. ¿Sí? And that's why Jesus said, and you shall know the truth. He didn't say, I'm telling you the truth. He said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So he never said, what I'm telling you, that you have to just follow my truth, what I'm telling you. Okay? In that statement is very clear. He said, you shall know the truth. So what Jesus was teaching, more than telling them the truth, he was telling them the process. He was showing and modeling the process. Más que enseñar la verdad, Cristo también modeló la verdad. Cristo modeló la verdad. Jesus Christ modeled the truth and of everything. Something didn't come through in the chat, my friend. So if you can read chat that last statement, that'll be fine, because I had to refresh the chat. An error message came up. So Cristo vino a enseñar el proceso. Y por eso dice, y conocerá la verdad, because you not having the process of discovery of truth, then you shall know the truth. See, it fits right. You shall know the truth because you have the process. And that is the most important thing for someone to teach you, for you to learn. That's the most important thing. Because once you have the process of discovery of truth, then you shall know the truth. And the truth shall set you free. Así que cuando alguien te enseña el procedimiento a la verdad, entonces conocerás la verdad y la verdad os hará libre. Esa es la más importante enseñanza que yo puedo dar o cualquiera puede dar. So that's my focus in all of the teaching. Is that that's why we're focusing on the process here, discovering the nature of God through His judgment. The precepts. No, just repeat the last message. I missed it because when I did a refresh, then something came in, but it's gone now. So you just refresh that last comment to make sure that I address your last comment, because I don't see it any longer. It's refreshed on my end. You don't have to do anything on your end. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Así que esto es mío, la causa de ambos vendrá delante de los jueces. So here we see that God gives it to man. Again, like I was saying before, I'm sorry about the little things, but I have to take care of some chats every once in a while. That you see that God is not looking at the truth of the matter here. Now that we're talking about that, right? Dios no está aquí considerando la verdad del asunto. God knows that man has his limits. Dios sabe que el hombre tiene su límite. Right here, it's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful picture of the way God is dealing with men. He's dealing with the house of Jacob, the children of Israel, particularly. Está bregando Dios aquí con hombres y está bregando a Dios aquí con la casa de Jacob y los hijos de Israel en particular. Okay, and so we see how God does his thing. Here we have a shot of it. So with this you understand the rest of the Bible, the way God is doing things and the way people are responding to it. This is it right here. There'll be no question about it. Aquí no puede haber más preguntas sobre la interacción entre Dios y el hombre, en particular con la casa de Jacob y los hijos de Israel. Porque estamos viendo aquí que Dios conoce la verdad del asunto, pero deja que los hombres juzgan. So he leaves it up to man to judge, knowing the truth, knowing God all things. He leaves it to men to judge. What is God more interested in? ¿Qué es lo que Dios está más interesado? See? What is God more interested in? It's right here. And I have it in Spanish. But I can't tell. I can't read Spanish, Pastor. Okay. What is God more interested in? He's interested more in this. Dios está más interesado en esto. Who and whom the judges shall condemn. He doesn't say and the truth that they will know. He doesn't talk about that because that's not a given. No es dado que los jueces van a encontrar la verdad, aunque Dios sepa qué es la verdad. See? What God is saying is that whoever it is, right or wrong, he shall pay double. Quien sea el culpable de acuerdo a los jueces humanos, bien o mal, correcto o incorrecto, justo o injustamente, cualquiera que ellos condenan, tal pagará doble a su vecino. So Dios está más interesado en que pague el doble. What does that mean? ¿Qué significa? What it signifies is that the teaching is not who did and who didn't do. Lo que significa que la enseñanza no es quién hizo o quién no hizo. La enseñanza es el pagar doble a su prójimo. God sees the paying double as a more important teaching than teaching these judges how to tell the truth from the not truth. How to judge well. He said, this is the limit of your abilities. This is it. This is what man can do. Okay? 90% of the time, 99% of the time, whatever number you want to put on it, 97% of the time, a group of judges would determine the right thing. But not every single time. It's not 100%. Right? So God is saying that's what you have. This is your thing. That's the first thing you got to realize. Que God is saying this is your thing here. Dios está diciendo que estas son cosas de ustedes. Ustedes tienen, sufren de una condición que más o menos con un grupo de personas pueden ver las cosas bien, pero no siempre. Pues ese es parte del paquete, como se dice. Dios ve más importante la enseñanza de pagar doble, quien sea el que los jueces encuentran o decidan que fue culpable. So here we see again that God prefers the teaching over the truth of the matter. And why is that? Because we have to go, and it sounds unjust. Suena un poquito injusto until you remember. The day you eat of the tree, you shall surely die. See, when you remember the first thing, then this makes a lot of sense. Cuando tú recuerdas las primeras cosas, entonces esto tiene mucho sentido. El día que comieres del árbol del cierto, moriréis. What does that statement do early on in Genesis to clarify why God puts a high value on this teaching and not on the truth of the matter? Who did or who didn't do? Because simply it doesn't matter. You see, it doesn't matter. If you catch the thief, he's red-handed. Okay, so this is how you're going to deal with it. But if no one knows what's happening, it's as good as a coin toss. And you know what? It's good. Because it doesn't matter. Because all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And that's the bottom line. There ain't no one that's not guilty here. That's why when Jesus drew the thing in the sand, he told them, he who is without sin here cast the first stone. Because the bottom line is, no one can cast a stone. That's the bottom line. They all sinned. Everyone sinned. The whole point. El punto es que todos pecaron. Eso porque Jesús se dibujó en la arena y entonces dijo, el que no tenga el pecado entre ustedes, tira la primera piedra. Y la realidad es que ninguno puede decirlo. Y esa es la realidad. Este es el asunto aquí. No importa si los jueces lo cogieron bien o mal. Porque al fin de día todos pecaron y todos han sido destituidos de la gloria de Dios. Por eso no importa. Por eso Dios no pone más énfasis, porque todos están mal, todos están en pecado. Pero la enseñanza de pagar el doble, ese es lo más importante en la condición en que está el hombre. So in the condition, within the construct of the state of man and the condition of man, the more important teaching is not that the truth be had in terms of who stole what and who actually did this. The teaching of paying double is more important because everyone is guilty. In other words, God is dealing with the guilty state of man, period. You're guilty. You're already condemned. Does it really matter? You know? When the greater teaching is the one that God is trying to bring out into. That's correct. Absolutely. Colby, Chambers, whatever it is. Religions are all lies. And if anything, if any truth be found in a religion, it's only a limited amount of it. It's like the moon. The moon is not light, right? That's what religion is. The moon. It's not the truth light. It's not the true light. It's a reflection. It has light, in it someplace. It looks like light. In the dark, that's the only thing you have. So that is what religion is. But the daytime has come. Pero la luz del día se ha llegado. So that's the thing about that, right? Religion's fake. Sort your life out. That's right, teaching. It helps us to sort things out. La enseñanza nos ayuda a arreglar las cosas. So that's what we're about here. Okay, we're not teaching religion. I know everything looks religious to you, but we don't espouse religion. We espouse only the discovery, like you're saying, exactly what you're saying, the stuff I teach about all the time. So welcome here. This is a friendly place for you. Este es un lugar de amistad a esta persona que está diciendo que toda religión es falso, que todo es mentira. Yo digo, amén, mijo, amén. Tú has llegado a tu sitio. Este es tu lugar aquí. So, siéntese bien, siéntese libre. Ha llegado a casa. Ven acá. Amen. That a certain way of looking at it. Yeah, there's many ways to look at it. Definitely, he's taken many forms throughout history. That's in the Bible. Así que en la Biblia dice que Dios es como decir, uno que se pone o se pretende, y muchas veces digo así, porque en la Biblia en muchas maneras que Él se presenta. Eso está bien. Todo lo que está diciendo cosas que a un religioso le molestaría, pero a mí no me molesta porque está dando los puntos básicos que siempre yo estoy enseñando sobre esas cosas. Eso está bien. All right. So, and again, what is the teaching about the double? What is the teaching about the double? The teaching about the double is the fact that you have the spiritual and the physical realities. Entonces tú tienes aquí el hecho de las realidades físicos y las realidades espirituales. So this is the main teaching, more important than who took what and who has what. The more important teaching that people understand that there is a physical reality, what we call our life, this life, but that there also is a spiritual reality. And the spiritual one is the original, right? As we understand in Genesis 1:1. Before God created all the things you see and call life and science and math, God was already. So that's the simplicity of it. It's a very simple concept. And then you have God is teaching this simplicity, this simple truth through the declaration. There's spiritual and there's a physical reality, and that is the most important thing that you need to understand because that is the greater point. El punto más grande de que quién hizo este pecado el otro es la realidad que al fondo de todos hay una realidad espiritual original y una realidad física donde ustedes están. So that to understand that this is not just an issue of who has what and what belongs to whom. What God is saying is this is an issue of the battle or the dissonance, if you will, between the spiritual reality, which is the original reality, and the physical one, which we think is the prioritized or featured reality. So that is all there is. And that is the battle that ensues around all of this issue about the Bible, about also, like they were mentioning here, religion and faith and all of that. This is the battle. It's a battle between the spiritual and the battle against the physical reality, which we are limited to. So, of course, it is our limitation. We are stuck in our limited scope, and of course, it is valid within the limitation that this is reality. This is all there is, which is the argument that God is making here is that there is a spiritual reality, and because of it, and the difference in nature, it's a different nature, and it's outside of the dimension. We have four dimensions here. So anything outside of that becomes something that we cannot touch, smell, or see, and therefore it becomes the issue of not being evidentiary scientifically. And therefore then you have this argumentation. Does it exist or doesn't exist? But if you're smart enough, see, you have a limit to how smart you think you are. But if you're smart enough, you wouldn't realize that you have a limit. See, that is how smart you need to get. Because once you get there, then you're the ridiculousness that nothing else can be, because I have reached my limit, so there can be nothing else. It's ridiculous. That's as simple as that. So again, that's just a lack of understanding. It's like a child. The child believes that the world and everything revolves around them. So it cannot be anything. No one else can be more important than they are. The world revolves around. This is my world. See, and that's a childish way of thinking. But people who think themselves smart and intelligent actually think that way. They think childish. They think like, this is the limit to my understanding. Therefore, there's nothing else. That is wrong. Así que nosotros tenemos la habilidad, nosotros o pensemos que solamente porque nosotros tenemos conocimiento limitado, que eso es todo. Y no es eso la verdad. Sino que el hombre más inteligente reconoce que él está limitado. Y si hay algo limitado, quiere decir que puede haber cosas fuera de los límites que él no puede comprender. Eso es todo. Así que la persona más inteligente tiene que solamente admitir su limitación y eso es todo, punto. So that's all. There's no news here that people are not understanding or comprehending something that is outside of the scope of their limits. That's all. It's just simple as that. This is a childish thing. You look at kids, they act the same way. Mira a los niños que ellos también actúan lo mismo. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass, or an ox, or a sheep, or any beast to keep, and it die, or be hurt, or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he hath not put his hand. So he has to swear, he has to make an oath that he did not take the goods. This animal walked off, someone took him, but I did not take him. And the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. Entonces aquí tenemos el asunto que si un hombre trae a un animal, and this is an issue of the difference. I see there's a difference in treatment between what is happening here. Then shall be an oath. If a man deliver up to his neighbor an ass to keep, and it died, or driven away, and then he shall make it good. And here it is an issue that this thing was taken. So the difference is in taking something, right? Something was taken. So the issue is there a question that something was taken? And then it becomes an issue of the teaching of the spiritual versus the physical. Then here's an issue of someone giving something to a person to hold. Aquí entonces el asunto de dar a una persona algo para guardarlo, y entonces viene a ser un asunto de jurar. El 11, juramento de Jehová habrá entre ambos, que no metió su mano los bienes de su prójimo. So that's the main difference there between those two. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. Y así entonces, si él entonces lo robó, tendrá que hacer restitución. Dame ver cómo lo traduce en español. Mas si le hubiera sido hurtado, resarcirá a su dueño. So again, this is the difference in the nature of these two situations and scenarios. If it be torn in pieces, si el animal fuere roto en pedazos, hecho pedazos, que quiere decir cuando otro animal come otro que se despadece así, se descompone, then let him bring it for witness. Entonces traiga ese cuerpo como testigo, y ahí se ve que fue comido por un animal, atacado, etcétera, etcétera. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, if he borrowed it, and the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. Again, when you borrow something, you're responsible for it. See where the emphasis again in responsibility. Who has the responsibility? ¿Quién tiene la responsabilidad? Así, el que prestó a otro el animal y se daña, you know, si tú prestas un carro, if you taking it in today's term, if you borrow a car, you're responsible. Tú eres responsable. You can't be bringing, there's a little common thing that I always practice, at least I try to, and that is if someone lends me their car, not that I'm going to ask you anyone for your car, but if I always practice this. If I borrowed a car from someone, and they lent me the car, I would bring it back with the tank full, and if the car was dirty, I would wash it. See, I would take care of the car like if it's mine. They let me borrow it. They're not even charging me for it. The least that I could do is to deliver it full. Because if I'm going to use the car, I'm going to fill it for me. But I should deliver it filled up, So before I bring it back, go to the gas station, fill it up, and the car looks a little dirty, put it in the car wash, get it cleaned up and vacuum and all that. No, no, no. That car comes back, well, this car's new. You know that. This is the way we have to be treating each other. Esta es la manera que deben estar tratando uno al otro. Tú sabes, si yo presto un carro, yo lo presto, lo lleno de gasolina para mi uso. Pero después, antes de llevarlo al dueño, lo lleno otra vez. Y entonces, si el carro está un poco sucio, lo mando a lavar y limpiar adentro y afuera. Y llega ese carro nuevecito a la casa. Oh, este carro está nuevo, este no es el carro que yo te presté. A ese mijo, no, gracias por prestármelo. No tenía que hacerlo. You see? So, the person doesn't have to let you borrow anything. So, like, it's the same thing. I didn't have to clean it either. So you see? I didn't have to fill the tank either. You didn't give it to me. I didn't have to do that, right? But that's the whole point. You didn't have to do it, but you did it. See? He did it, so then you do. You do what you didn't have to do, right? Make him smile. You will smile because you got the car. You were able to do your business, right? So that make him smile by you doing something also that you didn't have to do. And see how the world would be a much better place if people would follow religion. These are truths. These are truths of God. God is telling you, listen, what is the more important thing? Dios está diciendo aquí qué es lo más importante, qué es lo que tiene valor, qué es la realidad. Y nosotros tenemos que estar entendiendo lo que Dios está diciendo. But if the owner thereof be with it, now if something happens, if you hire the car, let's say you got the car, but it's the guy is driving, even though he's driving you around, he's driving his car, and something happens, that's his thing. See, that's the difference. See, that's like when you're driving for Uber or taxi, something happens to your car, just because you're taking me, I have nothing to do with that. Yo no tengo nada que ver que tú me estás llevando aquí o allá y algo pasa con tu carro. Yo no tengo nada que ver. Right? Because there's a whole lot of things about responsibility. Am I responsible? No, I have no responsibility. The responsible person is there with his car. He's the one responsible. Él está ahí responsable. So what you're looking for, what we're seeing here basically is again and again, responsibility. Who is responsible? ¿Quién es responsable? This is what we're seeing time and time again. This issue of responsibility over and over again, different ways, different forms, but it all really boils down to who is responsible. ¿Quién es responsable? And then the secondary teaching that we've been repeated over and over again here is what? Double, right? La segunda enseñanza aquí que hemos oído muchas veces es que es doble. Spiritual, physical. Spiritual reality, physical reality. Who is responsible? See that? These are the two basic teachings you see in these judgments right here. Spiritual reality, spiritual truth, physical truth. Who is responsible? Spiritually, physically. Who is responsible? Okay, so that's repeated different ways, different forms. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, a woman who is not married, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Así que el hombre que se mete con una chica, ¿verdad?, que no está desposada, o no está contratado a matrimonio o casado, pues entonces, y se acuesta con ella, ¿qué Dios dice? ¿Qué es la naturaleza de Dios? No es, sí, estos no son asuntos de ley. Esto es asunto de la naturaleza de Dios. That's what people have to understand also. We're not talking about law here. It is obviously in the law. But it's not just law. It's the nature of God. See? Remember what's at the causation. Not just the fruit, but the causation. So if he entices her to lie with her, then he shall surely make her his wife. You have to marry. That is the responsible thing to do. It's not just responsible in human terms. It's responsible in terms of the nature of God. Who is responsible? ¿Quién es responsable? No, God doesn't need the currency. La pregunta es, si Dios es todopoderoso, ¿por qué Dios necesita nuestro dinero? Dios no necesita nuestro dinero. Never did God need our anything. Nothing in the Bible tells you that God needs something from man. It was never, ever any consideration of that. Nunca Dios enseñó que necesitaba algo de los hombres. Okay? The issue is that man needs it. El hombre lo necesita. He needs it for what? For teaching. Él lo necesita para enseñanza, para comprensión, para reconocimiento de comprensión. So he needs it for teaching, for understanding, and for the recognition or demonstration that he is understanding. That is why it's needed. Okay, so when God instituted, like when Cain and Abel gave their offering, remember that? Early on in the Bible, cuando Caín y Abel ofrecieron su ofrenda bien temprano en la Biblia, right? It wasn't that God needed it. No era que Dios lo necesitaba. Era que el hombre necesitaba reconocer la enseñanza que Dios quería que el hombre entendiese. Abel, en eso cae en la aceptación de Abel y la rechaza de Caín. So that was the mistake Cain made. You see, Cain killed his brother because he misunderstood. He misunderstood this very point. He killed Abel because he thought that he was giving something to God. God is only teaching. God doesn't need anything from that. So he missed the teaching. That's why sin was at the door. Por eso el pecado estaba en la puerta, porque no entendió Caín que esto era enseñanza, no era que Dios quería ofrenda. So that we make the mistake, and I don't have to go on. It's a whole Bible full of teaching. But we make the mistake when we think that God needs anything from man, right? Man needs everything from God. See that? So all of these demonstrations are just teachings. See, but the whole fact that people don't get it straight today is showing you that they still don't get it. They still don't understand. And that's the danger. That's why I don't agree with this teaching of not doing it, because even Jesus said to do the right thing and don't leave the other undone. When he was talking about the tithe, he said you should tithe this and not leave the other undone. This is what you should do and not leave the other done, because the whole point is you're not getting it. You guys have a problem with reality, physical and spiritual. You're not understanding the double. That's the whole point of what we're talking about here today, and what God is saying in his judgments here. The double, the restitution and the double. Because you have to understand that this isn't about physical things. It's about spiritual things. See? So that is where people are misunderstanding, and almost always when they make that error, they will lean toward the physical view of things, and they'll totally miss the whole teaching, and then everything is invalid. Así que la enseñanza es esta, que en esas cosas que hay que entender que Dios
lo espiritual y lo físico. La misma enseñanza que estamos teniendo hoy, preguntando sobre esto del dinero en la iglesia, que por qué Dios necesita dinero, porque Él es grande, Él es Dios. Y el asunto es que Dios no necesita del hombre, el hombre necesita. El hombre necesita demostrar su conocimiento e entendimiento. Por eso tenemos, Dios establece estas cosas para que el hombre entienda. Pero todavía el hombre no entiende, es muy cabeciduro, porque siempre está viendo lo material y no ve lo espiritual, el doble, restituir, doble. See, so ese es el punto. That's the reasoning God is doing this all in this the judgment, so that people start getting in their head. Listen, spiritual and physical. This is not just a physical thing here. God is teaching spiritual things, and that's why those things are there. And until the knowledge is had about what they mean, what does that offering mean, what does that tithing mean? You really shouldn't be making a move. You should be very, very careful because, again, if you're doing things ignorantly in the physical, you're doing it in the spiritual as well. It's double whammy that you're incurring, physically and spiritually. So you have to take great care in that. I will in the future have teachings on that. I've had it in the past, but just keep following, and maybe one of these days I get into that topic a little more and give you more detail. But that's pretty much what it is. Okay, so again, responsibility. And if her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Again, this is actually a repeat. Again, remember we dealt with this before, right? In a different context with the slave. Remember that? In Exodus 21. Nosotros dimos algo parecido en Éxodo 21 cuando la esclava es tomada como mujer, ¿verdad? El hijo lo toma como mujer, el padre le tiene que tratar como una hija, todo eso. This again goes into that. Esto otra vez entra en este asunto. It also requires him to pay money according to the dowry. Okay. Iba a hacer el bien, o sea, a casarse con ella, donde también hubiera recibido el dinero para ayudarlos, right? Es un contrato, es una cosa de posesión por igual. This has to do a little bit about possession. Possession of the female in this case. Esto trata con la posesión de la hembra. Y entonces él queda sin la restitución a menos que el padre pague este dinero. En español se llama qué cosa, para recordarme, 17. El dote, la dote. Right? Si su padre no quisiera dársela, él le pasará plata conforme a la dote de las vírgenes. So that is the restitution made of his wanting to marry her, because again, what is it saying that he wants to betroth her, that he loves her? That's what it says, right? That's what it's meaning. So lo que quiere decir que él quiere casarse con ella, que él la ama. So, entonces entonces el padre no quiere, so está sufriendo una pérdida. So he's suffering a loss, and this is to compensate for the loss. 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. 18. No sufrirás a la hechicera, no dejarás que viva. Let's talk about this. Why is God saying that you shall not allow a witch to live? ¿Por qué Dios está diciendo que no dejará el vivo una hechicera? This goes to, again, going by the spiritual and physical things. The witch is someone who's doing spiritual things outside of the guidance of God, of God's word and his law in this case. She's doing things externally outside of the guidance of the Ruach HaKodesh. Así que la hechicera es una persona básicamente que está fuera de orden en el mundo espiritual. Recuerde que Dios tiene en el mundo espiritual personajes maliciosos, de maldad, que es el diablo y sus ángeles caídos. Remember that God has a part of the spiritual kingdom. There are these evil actors, namely Lucifer, Satan, and his fallen angels, what we will call demons. So God has them there. He did not eliminate them because of his purpose. Dios no lo eliminó por sus propósitos divinos, which goes a little bit to a question someone had asked a long time ago in this program, que vuelve a una pregunta que alguien hizo mucho tiempo atrás en esta misma programa. Because of his purposes, he has not eliminated evil. Okay? Evil is still serving a purpose for the great teacher. La maldad todavía es una gran enseñanza para el gran instructor, Jehová, right? So, but having someone, a man, a woman, involved in communication and being manipulated, because they're not manipulating anything. Because remember that it's like that same perception with the money and God. It's not that God needs the money; it's we need God all the time. So the person playing around with spirits outside of God's permission is a person that's being duped. La mayoría de personas que bregan con los espíritus fuera del permiso de Dios es una persona que está siendo engañada. This is the reason that God does not allow them to live. Que you're simply playing around with fire. Porque sencillamente está jugando con el fuego. Remember again, why does God put them to death? Why does God say kill them? This goes to the point of why does God allow death? Why are there so many deaths? Why is there so much suffering? Because remember the beginning. Recuerde, hay muchos que dicen por qué Dios permite estos muertes y dice que mate y tanta destrucción, tanta muerte, tanta cosa fea. Pero recuerde el principio. El día que comieres de este árbol, de cierto moriréis. Remember what he said in the beginning? The day you eat of this tree, you shall surely die. You just have to remember that. Because like I said before, everything else doesn't matter. You're complaining about something that doesn't matter. Death? We're already dead. That was the only reason we're alive is because of God's grace. Because God loves us, that he's trying to reach us and make us understand. Because some of us are so hard-headed throughout life. Porque muchos de nosotros son tan cabeza dura durante toda la vida. Que no estamos aprendiendo de Dios. Dios tiene mucha gracia, tiene mucha paciencia. God has great grace and a lot of patience. Okay? So don't blame God because, God, he could have just let Adam die, period. See? But God is responsible. Dios hubiera dejado que Adán muriese y punto. Pero Dios es responsable. I say that because there's a teaching we had in that one, right? We already gave that, or at least I gave it. Yeah, we already gave it last time. God is responsible. Dios es responsable. So don't be looking at God. Why does God? No. Everything that goes on here, remember, we have to take it to the judges. This is our business. Es un asunto nuestro. Recuerda que hay que ir a los jueces. Recuerda llevar este caso a los jueces. Pues esa cosa no importa. God, what matters to God is what? Double. That's the teaching God is making clear. Lo que importa a Dios es el doble, no esa cosita. Because that was already said and done. You shall surely die. That's it. That's a done deal. So don't look at death here and be looking at God and saying why. No, so don't look at him. Don't look at him. Because this matter he already said in the beginning. And it's settled and finalized. Only that he made a seventh time period. Lo único, esto fue cosa ya decidido, ya dicho. Esto ya está hecho. Por Dios, no está mirando a Dios por esa pregunta. Lo único es que Dios hizo un séptimo día, un séptimo periodo de tiempo. Ustedes tienen que ver las enseñanzas sabias para entender lo que dije. So, to understand why I said what I said, you have to look at the Sabbath teaching, which I gave yesterday and the one before that. There's 3 parts. Look for that, and you'll understand very clearly why it is the way it is. Then he goes into 19. So basically, you're not supposed to, if you're going into the spiritual thing, go into the Ruach HaKodesh. Come into God. Why are you playing around with the prison system? You don't understand. Porque si tú quieres bregar con los espíritus, brega con el espíritu de Jehová. Porque tú tienes que estar yendo al sistema penal para bregar allí. Brega con el que domina, brega con el que vive. Gloria a Dios. Así que, you deal with the one who is alive, the giver of life. What are you dealing with the prisoners? They're condemned. What are you going to find in them? They're just going to fool with you. They're just looking for toys to play with, people to fool with. Ellos solo están buscando a quién jugar, a quién engañar, gente para entretenerse en su miseria de condenación. So God said, listen, if you don't have the sense enough to look for God, basically what God is saying, if you don't have the sense to look for Him, then you should go back to the day Adam and Eve ate from the tree, and you shall surely die. You should drop dead. You should be dead. That's basically what God is saying. You're not even trying to do the right thing. You're just totally going in rebellion. So you're done. Esta persona, el hechicero, no está tratando de hacer las cosas bien hechas. Ellos están tratando de bregar con lo condenado, porque tú eres condenado, ya, termina con eso. Porque la única razón que están vivos es para que tengan vida. The only reason that you guys are still alive today, we all, are to have a chance of having life. To having to hear this fat guy here, ugly fat guy, talking for 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday and now a Saturday. That's the only reason you're alive. La única razón que está vivo es para tener la oportunidad de oír este gordo feo aquí los domingos y los sábados. Ahora, esa es la única razón que tú estás vivo. Porque si no, muérete. ¿Para qué vale? Está bregando con demonios, está bregando con diablo. Prefiere el demonio, el diablo y la mentira. Pues muérete ya. You prefer the devil, you prefer demons, you prefer the lies, you prefer physical over the spiritual, then drop dead, because the law, the way it's supposed to be is that you should have been dead already. The only reason you're alive is because of me here. La única razón que están vivos es por mí aquí. Porque yo estoy enseñando lo que Dios quiere que tú oigas. Because I'm teaching what God wants you to hear. So you can realize why you're alive. Why you are alive. Porque tú estás, para que entiendas lo que tú, por la razón que tú estás vivo. Por eso estoy yo aquí. That's why my life is expended to try to educate some of you. Por eso mi vida está gastado en tratar de atraer comprensión, entendimiento a ustedes. Now we go on to lying with beasts. Oh, we were waiting all day for this one. Whosoever lieth, that means have sex, with a beast. Oh my. It's not Beauty and the Beast. No, not that. Shall surely be put to death. El que se acostare con una bestia, también a la muerte, for the same reason. For the same reason. You're doing something that's not what God created man to be doing. Estás haciendo algo que Dios no creó al hombre para estar haciendo. Ustedes no entienden. See, it's a lack of understanding. What is the point? ¿Cuál es el punto? Is there something that's going to come out of this of any benefit? ¿Hay algo que salga de esto que es de beneficio? Does this further the human race in some way or fashion? ¿Esto progresa la raza humana en alguna forma? Like I said, why are you alive? ¿Por qué están vivos? Whole point. See that when you see the perspective of that your life is only given to you as a time period to discover the truth of God, the truth of His grace. That's it. Because any other pursuit other than that, you should die. You can't complain about death in this world or any other time. La muerte es esta vida. No puedes quejarte. Si tú no estás buscando de Dios y no le gustan las cosas de Dios, entonces tienen que morir. Debe morir. Está gastando tiempo. Esta persona acostando con bestias, la hechicera, jugando con demonios, jugando con animales, porque no puede salir a buscar una novia. You know, gastando tiempo. Gastando tiempo desordenando la naturaleza de Dios, que Dios hizo aquí. You're destroying the nature and the things of God that God placed here in the universe, and you guys are going around doing everything possible to negate it. Then die. Negate it. Negate life. Negate biology. Niega la biología. Muérete. You are negating your own life. How is it that we are birthed from mothers and fathers, and then we're having sex in ways that do not produce children? How is it really? You are negating your own life. Abortion, negating your own life. Then die. Drop dead. That basically what God is saying. Drop dead. Lo que Dios está diciendo es muérete. Cáigate muerto. Negando todo lo que Dios hizo, la biología, el sexo biológico que produce niños. Si no quiere hacer lo correcto, muérete. ¿Para qué está vivo? Está gastando, no está buscando de Dios. God is merciful. You know, the only reason you guys don't drop dead in the act is because God is still trying to have you learn something, because you're still back in kindergarten, guys. Guys and girls, you're in kindergarten. You got to get with it. You got to start listening. Start getting this teaching. We all agreed to come here. It's a place called Death and Beauty Earth. We set clues up for ourselves to eventually wake up. We came here to experience what death is like. That is Mormon teaching. Well, not Mormon teaching. That's Scientology. Eso es está hablando de cosas de cientología. On another day, we can have this discussion, but not today. I'm almost finished, so I don't want to go. I don't have the time to do that. But there's great flaws in your thinking and in that thinking. So we can do that on another day when I'm talking about religious thinking. And I'll show you why reason itself does not permit that of being in any sense true in any way. Okay, but I can't do it now because there's just no more time. And then to finish today, we'll do 20, and we'll be done for this part of the year. So vamos a ver el 20 para terminar para hoy. He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. Again, this concludes the teaching that I've been focusing on, that y esto concluye la enseñanza: el que sacrifica a cualquier otro Dios menos a Jehová únicamente será destruido. And it's simply the purpose of our existence right now is to find God, is to know the truth. The truth that there's only one God. That God is Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever way you wanted to name it, because he didn't make it clear, for the reason that no one should be saying his name. And yet people make it a point. Oh, you don't know the name? You don't know the name. No one knows the name. Okay? You have some clue? You don't know it. Así que Tenemos idea de qué es el nombre de Jehová, pero nadie sabe cómo pronunciarlo, cómo se pronuncia, solo se asuma. All right, pero la cosa es que esto es lo que estamos hablando hoy día, lo que Dios está diciendo. Si tú no estás buscando de Dios, si tú no estás buscando la verdad, estás gastando el tiempo. Porque nuestro tiempo se terminó cuando tomamos del fruto. Our time ended when Adam ate the fruit. That was the end of your time. That was it. Now we're living on borrowed time. It's what's called living on borrowed time. This is actually where we're living in. That's the space we're living in. And if you're not going to use this borrowed time, the seventh time period, to seek the Creator and to do things the right way, then you really should die. And that's the second time, right? Because you should have died the first time, right? And now for the second time, you just wasted it again. It's like, how stupid can a person be? You know that God's going to be totally justified. Okay, how stupid can you be? Dios va a ser tan justificado por esto, es terrible. Porque ustedes tenían que morir cuando Adán tomó del fruto. Ok, period. Nos dio más tiempo, el séptimo periodo de tiempo, el séptimo día. Nos dio más tiempo. ¿Y qué? ¿Qué hemos hecho? Perder el tiempo, gastar el tiempo. Okay? So it's like I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, to finish off this wonderful 6 months or 5 months, whatever it was, of teaching this first half of this year, I leave you with the knowledge and the understanding that this life is not to be wasted. This life is for you to learn about everything there is to learn in a pursuit of the truth. And for you to know that once you know the truth shall set you free. Así que ustedes entienden que la vida no es para gastarlo, es para aprender. Y de todo lo que uno aprende para entonces conocer la verdad, y la verdad os hará libre. So eso debe ser nuestro trabajo, nuestro esfuerzo en esta vida. And I encourage you to continue seeking truth. If you feel that I have not been biased like others that I'm teaching, or trying to be unbiased, at least give me that, right? And you keep following us. We'll be starting again live, but biblical teachings, Sunday teachings, and probably the Sabbath teaching. I'll do another Sabbath teaching this Saturday. That'll be the final one until September. And then September we get back going, and I have to do a lot of housekeeping type of things with videos and archives and stuff like that during the summer. Así que voy a estar trabajando en el verano, preparando archivos y mudando videos y todos hasta septiembre, donde empezamos de nuevo. Este sábado voy a dar un último clase de sábado también antes de ese descanso. So Saturday actually is my last day teaching the biblical things until September on a steady basis, every Friday, Saturday, like that. I always get on and talk Bible sometimes here and there, whatever, an article, something happens, I'll come out and talk about Bible. But other than that, we are getting back to our regular schedule come September. Vamos a entrar en nuestra agenda schedule regular in September. Let me just take a quick look and see if I can let me see if I can get this calendar up here. Voy a buscar en el calendario a ver, a darte una fecha más o menos. Just to give you guys a date in September, if I can, July, June. Okay, September, it looks like our first teaching will be this Saturday the 7th for the Sabbath church, and then Sunday the 8th for our regular Sunday broadcast. So vamos a reunirnos otra vez el sábado para la clase sábado, este sábado la última, pero el sábado 7 de septiembre empiezo con enseñanza en vivo, y el domingo el 8 con los domingos aquí en vivo. So we'll be live again, I may show videos, recordings during the summer months, but I will be live again, steady, from beginning with the Sabbath, the 7th of September, and the 8th of September, Sunday, here again in live. As a live person, I'll be alive. Remember that these teachings are basis of our game, symbolism, and remember that that's why a lot of these things that we're teaching will be featured in the game. Here's the game commercial. And as you know, we've those who followed our broadcast, we are hiring now for our gamer lifestyle business. Check out those videos if you're interested in gaming at all. We have Spaceparium, which is also being developed. It was the first game that we started to develop. Así que take a look at that. Nosotros estamos también haciendo unos juegos y tenemos unas ofertas relacionadas a estos juegos. Los que quieren trabajar o hacer negocio en el género de los juegos, pues siguen nuestras programaciones. Again, if you like to donate, if you would help this teaching in our Roku and Fire TV, we have to pay according to how many viewers, take the bandwidth, stuff like that. So any little bit will help us as more and more and more people, like every week, our extents and our exposure in the world increases, and that increases our views. So we appreciate if you can make any type of donation at the URLs there or using your phone with the QR code, and make any donation, any amount, big or small, doesn't matter. Everything helps towards the furtherance of paying bills, because people need the bills paid. And that's everything we're doing is not for free, in terms of the larger channels that we have. We're reaching over 220 million homes right now as we speak through Roku TV and Fire TV. Estamos alcanzando 220 millones de hogares a través de los canales de Roku y de Fire TV de Amazon. Así que esto nos cuesta. Los demás lugares no cuesta nada, es gratis, pero tampoco hay mucha gente viendo, right? So again, this is the reason that we have to appeal to make sure that we can stay blessing the world with a good challenge to their thinking process, right? Okay, take care. See you guys next time, Saturday, last live. Summertime, a little recordings here and there, not always. And then we'll see you guys in September live. Take care. God bless you.